Everybody, Junior 2000 here, coming at you with a review of Friday the Final Destination 5 from 2011, as they call it, Final Destination 3D 5. Well, that is not the 3D Blu-ray, but this movie was released in theaters back in 2011. This was the coolest 3D movie to see in theaters because I did went to see a 3D movie after this, like a year later, and it was the Lorax. That was one of the crappiest 3D movies that ever came out because that movie didn't feel 3D to me. But this movie felt 3D more because this movie was really brutal and vicious and balls the walls crazy from 3D effects. I really enjoyed Final Destination 5. It was a great theater experience. I really enjoyed Final Destination 5. Just this movie was a lot of fun. Even my dad enjoyed this movie. And there was like no showing for the regular version, the 2D version, but we went to go see in 3D, and it was like 3 months after it came out. I think it was 2 months. I'm not sure, but we shot into. I think it came out in August, and then we watched it in September. And this movie was a lot of fun to watch. Good theater experience. The movie was not even packed. It was just either it was me, my dad, and there was two other couples that were in the back. That was it. The theater was really empty. So it was a good theater experience, like none hearing all that bullshit talking, none of that annoying shit where everybody has issues going to the theater. Somebody's talking on their phone, talking like dumbasses, or someone brings their kid and they're crying throughout the movie. Like I had that experience with watching Cloverfield back in 2008 when Cloverfield came out. I had a bad experience where I saw somebody brought their kid and started crying. Ugh, ruined the theater experience. But yeah, none of that went there, saw in 3D, and this was the most badass 3D film to watch. Especially that opening sequence with all the trash from all the four films flashing, thrown in the air, with the opening credits and that badass rock music. Oh, this was the most awesome 3D film to watch. I really enjoyed Final Destination 5. Um, I don't really know much about the cast, but I thought they did a decent job. Like one of the guys that plays Peter, he looks a lot like Tom Cruise a bit. He even sounds like him a little bit. I think he even parodied Tom Cruise one time in a skit or something on SNL. I know they have David Koshner, who was like in Anchorman, and he was also in that shitty Piranha 3 Double D sequel. And Tony Todd comes back as Bloodworth, the character that's pretty much he's pretty much he's pretty much is deaf. A lot of people don't realize he is deaf. He is pretty much deaf in disguise. But when he's not in disguise, he's the one that's doing all the traps, like having everybody get into these deadly accidents. But Tony Todd, great to see him back in this film. He was not seen in the fourth film. Only the third film he was heard as the devil voice on the roller coaster ride. That was it. But he didn't appear in that third movie. He didn't even appear in the fourth one. But the fourth one was in the 3D, and that movie was a piece of crap. But I did enjoy the film series. I do love the first one. The second one, I kind of think is a little overrated because a lot of people think it's a better film than the first movie. No, I think it's an overrated sequel. Like I do like some of the traps in it, but it's to me kind of an overrated sequel. I kind of like the third film better than the second film, which I actually like the third movie. I think that third movie is underrated. The fourth movie is a piece of shit, but this one is better than the fourth film, and this one is a lot of fun to watch. Of course, you get this character named Sam, played by Nicolas D'Augusto, who has his premonition of the bridge collapsing with his friends that are working at this plant place. They're going to this retreat, and then they're going through a bridge, and the bridge starts collapsing. Their friends start getting killed one at a time. On the bridge collapse, one gets stabbed while falling off the bridge and falling into a sailing I think a sailing spear pipe or something we call it, compeller or something. Like the girl falls on her back on it and gets stabbed with the blood coming out of the screen. And then one of the characters gets stuck in the bus and falls into the bus with the bus flying into the water because it falls off the bridge, and it boom, you get that impactful water flying into the screen. The other character falls off the bridge after they trying to cross, and gets a car smashed into their face while trying to swim away. One of the friend gets swapped by a wire that swaps his body out of the frame with blood smearing into the screen. The boss gets hot what's that black liquid, that hot stuff that burnt, that is like using for roads, tar, yeah. All this black goo of tar flies on the boss's face that's trying to hang on the bridge, but gets this black tar burned all over his face like acid. It's just burning his skin up and makes him fall off the bridge. And then of course Peter and Sam are trying to follow Molly, who's over the other side of the bridge. Sam and Peter are trying to hang on to the side of the bridge while the bridge starts collapsing very slowly. Boom, 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 boom. All the bridge roads are falling down to the ocean. And it's a very scary situation when you're on a bridge. And of course, they're hanging. They're trying to get towards Molly, who's in the safety area. But Peter gets thrown by a bunch of spears pipes into his body, and he falls down, smashing his body on the pavement. And then Sam gets cut in half until that premonition ends, and he knows what's going to happen. And then he has his friends get out of the bus, and the bridge starts collapsing, and they believe him, and they boo. They know what happened. Now he knows it was going to happen, so he has that premonition. Like how in the Final Destination trope of every series, all the films, they go by saying, "Oh, I had a premonition. This is going to happen." Like how all the characters did with the plane, with the traffic, with the roller coaster, with the race kart race, and now this one with the bridge. And of course, more of the characters start getting killed one at a time, like how they got killed in the bridge. One girl gets killed when she's doing gymnastics, and she gets her neck broken while she's doing like a backflip, and a bunch of dust goes in her face, and she falls down, breaks her back. And the second character gets killed when he's getting like a massage, and he has like needles on his face, to like healing needles, but he falls and gets his needles punched into himself after he falls off the table. And then he almost gets burned, but he falls down, and then he lays there until he knows a Buddha statue falls and smashes his face with a bunch of blood coming out toward the screen. And then third character gets killed, where she gets her eyes laser surgery, where laser goes through her eyes and burns her eyes out. And then she gets out of the chair that she's on that's burning her eye. She slips out of the building, falls down to her death, and her eye comes out, gets run over. And then there's more brutal kills. One of Sam's friends was gonna get killed by a hook, but his friend was trying to push this guy Rory, who's an asshole worker, got in the way of Sam's friend's death, and so Roy got the kill instead, where the hook fell and punctured him under the chin and hanged him, where the hook went under his chin. And then the next kill will go to the boss, where there's this wrench that's on a fast moving machine that's on next to the wrench, and it swings in and ricochets the wrench towards the boss's face, where it goes into his eye and caves in. And then now they're freaked out by this coincidence, and then Peter tries to kill Sam and Molly to like take their lives so he could be free. Like how they think, oh, because he's like jealous that Sam's friend was not killed because he had the Roy character get killed. So Peter thinks that, oh, this is gonna work when I kill somebody. So let me kill Sam and Molly. So he hunts them down in the kitchen when they have dinner because they invite Peter because he's lonely. He misses his girlfriend, but he starts going like a murderer maniac, trying to shoot them and kill them. He kills a cop character that's like in this movie, played by Courtney B. Vance, and I remember him in Hamburger Hill. He was also in that movie with Charlie Sheen, that biker movie. He was like a DA agent, officer, commander, whatever the hell you call it. He was like in that motorcycle movie with Charlie Sheen. Above the no, not above the law. That's Steven Seagal on Beyond. I think Beyond the Law. That's the name of the movie with Charlie Sheen. Yeah, Courtney B. Vance. He was like the cop that has him be involved in this undercover case where he's like going undercover as a biker gang. And Michael Manson's in the movie as well. That's a good one film. That's a good film. But he plays an FBI agent that's in this movie questioning Sam, finding out what's this mystery about these murders and stuff. And of course, Tony Todd's in this movie, and he comes back as Bulworth, and he tells them, "You're supposed to die one at a time on that bridge, but you cheated Death. Now Death is coming after you." That's where he pretty much says it in there, all the movies. You cheated Death. Now he's coming after you. How you're supposed to die in the bridge. You were never supposed to survive. But yeah, Courtney B. Vance character, who's a cop, he gets shot by Peter, so Peter takes his life. And then he still wants to kill Molly and Sam. But Peter and Sam get into a vicious fight. And then Sam stabs him with these meat hooks or stab knives or something that's in the kitchen, where they put like a bunch of chicken meat over it. But it's like a big knife that stabs him in the chest and 3D effects. And then they are made it out free. Sam took Peter's life, so they're good until they go on the plane and they don't realize this movie was pretty much a prequel that ends the movie, because they're on a plane and it's Flight 180 from the first movie, and they see Devon Sawa, Kurt Smith fighting on the plane, because Devon Sawa has the premonition in the first movie. The plane's gonna fucking explode. Oh my gosh. And they don't know what's going on until it is Flight 180 and the plane starts activate like it starts like being all blowing up, like it's like the piece of the plane starts torn apart, like the plane is like getting all burned up. People are flying out of the plane, getting sucked out. Even Molly gets sucked out. And I think that kill was meant for Sam, because Sam was the next person that was killed after Peter. But Molly took Peter's place. I mean, took Sam's place, and she flies out, gets decapitated with the plane, the fin of the plane, and then boom, big explosion, and Sam is burned to death with his skin all melted, and the plane explodes. That's the plane of Flight 180 from the first Final Destination film. And then you get a memorial of Roy's passing, because Sam's friend goes to that place, talks to one of the workers, until boom, one of the wheels of the plane flies onto him and kills him, because he was the last one alive. and Dust in the Wind plays in the background. It plays in a few times. Dust in the Wind. Good song. But yeah, that ends the movie where you get a badass AC/DC song that goes Foundation Nation 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, with all the compilations of all the kills in 3D effects from all the 4 films. Brutal. Like the dude getting his body smashed by that machine carnival thing that smashes that dude, that goth dude at the end of the 3rd film. The guy who gets his butt sucked by that machine that sucks his intestines out of the pool machine. You get the kill where the dude gets decapitated in half by the barbed wire trap. You get the trap where the Frankie character gets his head chopped up by the machine of an engine car. You get the nail gun where the girl gets her face all punctured by the nail gun. You get all the crazy stuff that happens in this movie, and wow, that's all the compilation of all the brutal kills and the effects in badass 3D effects with kick-ass AC/DC playing in the background. Like that was such a cool ending, where you see all this blood and guts, all these kills from all the 4 films compilations of the kills in 3D effects with AC/DC kicking ass in the background. Like this was such a good movie, and that ended that way, where it was a prequel. And you get Bloodworth's last line after the song ends, and he says, "You all just be careful now, dude." And the music starts going dark. Doo, doo, doo. Yeah, this is a very good 5th film to see in 3D back in 2011. Good theater experience. I really thought this was a badass 3D film, badass 3D horror film that ever came out. I really enjoyed this film. I know there's a 6th film that's coming out, but we'll see how that is. I have no plot synopsis of what that's going to be. Is that going to be another prequel? Is that going to be, how the hell is that going to be a prequel? But is it going to be a reboot, or is it going to be a straight up sequel after the 4th film or something? Because we know that this is not a sequel; it's pretty much a prequel. But like, is it going to continue after the 4th film? Like, what is it, or is it just going to be a reboot? Like, is it going to be a sequel to the first one? Whatever. But we'll see how that 6th film comes out. But yeah, that's my review for Final Destination 5, folks. Leave your thoughts in the comments what you thought about this badass 3D film. That's a kick-ass horror movie. Have a good day, everybody.